YouTube friends, I am Linda, and today I'm going to be talking about big books. I decided to join something called the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge, and it's created by Sue Jackson, who has her own YouTube channel here. I'll put a link to her Big Book Summer Challenge video in the description of this video. And the point of the challenge is to read as many books as you can that are over 400 pages by the end of the summer. So, anyhow, I have a couple of books here that I have chosen. It's too bad I can't use this one because it's over 400 pages and I'm nearly done with it now, but I started it months ago before the challenge started. So I cannot use that one as part of this challenge, but I have two others. And this one I was going to read anyhow. It's Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. I've been wanting to read one of her books. I have heard so much about her fiction. It is Christian fiction, and I believe it's Christian romance fiction. So I had never read a Francine Rivers book before, and then all of a sudden I saw a video that was put out by Hicks Picks Books. She decided on the spur of the moment that she was going to read a different Francine Rivers book called The Masterpiece, and it was going to be a read-along, and there's a group for it on Goodreads, and I just said, yes, I'm going to do that one instead. So that one was my first Francine Rivers book. I read it very quickly via audiobook, and I already posted a review of it over on Goodreads. I really had mixed feelings about it. I couldn't give it a 5-star rating. First of all, I don't really like romance books the way they're written because, you know, there's a lot of kissing and you talk about the men's chest muscles and all that stuff, and that really doesn't appeal to me at all. I don't want to read books like that. So I could have been happier with the book if she had abstained from that completely, but she did have like one or two scenes where she mentioned this kind of stuff. And it wasn't too hot and heavy because it was a Christian novel, so it was mainly just kissing. And I liked the book other than that. The thing was, I thought it was a really well-written book. It was easy to read. It was a page-turner. It was fascinating, a complex plot. The characters were very well developed. We got a lot of backstory on the two main characters. I mean, exploring things that had happened to them in their childhood that made them who they are now and who they became. And so I liked the book, except for these little romance elements that I usually try not to read. But okay, I got through my first Francine Rivers book. It was 512 pages, so it was my first big book for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge of the year. And so I liked it enough that I would read another Francine Rivers book. Although I didn't really like the romance elements, I did like the Christian element, and it inspired me in a way that I thought was a positive and life-changing effect for me. So I'm totally in on reading another Francine Rivers book. So I had this one, like I said, Redeeming Love. This is said by many to be her best book. So that's why I got this one. And it is set in California. I should say both of the books, the Masterpiece and Redeeming Love, are both set in California, but the Masterpiece was contemporary and this one is set during the gold rush. And either way, I'm really into California books, so that's a win for me. And I am starting a new group over on Goodreads for people who are interested in reading about California. If there's anyone out there like me, I like books mainly about historical California. I like to read the history books. I like to read memoirs and just all kinds of things. I read fiction. I recently read The Wayward Bus by Steinbeck, and I read The Spectator Bird by Wallace Stegner, all California books. I just enjoy reading about the state where I was born and lived most of my life, and where I am actually living right now. So the other big book that I had picked out for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge is a nonfiction book. It's called The Stammering Century by Gilbert, Seldes, and this is mainly about unusual groups like cults, and yeah, just strange groups that came into being during the 1800s. And I'm reading this in part just not only because I'm curious, but also because I had a novel that I was writing and it had to do with a group like this, so I thought this would be good research for my novel. And it's just over 400 pages. It's not extremely long. I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm trying to think, when was this published? Maybe back in the 1930s? Let's see how close I am. Oh no. It was originally published in 1927. So I was pretty close, 1927. And so those are my two books that I picked out, plus the masterpiece. And I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to stop right there and say thank you for listening, and I will be back in another video. Bye.